On any given night in America, more than 650,000 people go to sleep without a home to call their own. These are men, women, and children who face the uncertainty of where they'll rest their heads, braving the elements and the unknown. That's more than the entire population of cities like Las Vegas or Baltimore. Imagine every resident of these cities suddenly without shelter, searching for safety and warmth. This isn't a distant problem, tucked away in some far-off place. It's happening right here, in our own neighborhoods, on the streets we walk every day, often just steps from our homes and workplaces. The crisis is woven into the very fabric of the wealthiest nation on earth, often hidden in plain sight. Just beyond the gleaming facades of prosperity, a different reality unfolds. We travel to see America's beauty. Hollywood, the Golden Gate Bridge, Times Square, landmarks that symbolize hope and opportunity. But in these same iconic places, a parallel reality exists, one marked by hardship and invisibility. It's a reality of daily struggle and survival, of people left behind by systems that promised more. For many, every day is a fight to meet basic needs: food, safety, dignity. The people experiencing homelessness are not a monolith. They come from all walks of life, each with their own unique journey and challenges. They are veterans who once served their country, families fleeing violence or disaster, seniors priced out of housing after a lifetime of work, and young people aging out of foster care with nowhere to turn. Each person has a story, a past filled with memories, and a dream for the future. Their hopes and aspirations are as real as anyone's. They are our fellow citizens, our neighbors, caught in circumstances that could be just one crisis away for any of us: a lost job, a medical emergency, or a sudden rent increase. This essay is a journey into that unseen America, a world that exists alongside our own but is too often ignored or misunderstood. We'll explore the shocking numbers, the complex web of reasons behind this epidemic, and hear the voices and stories of those living it every day. We'll also uncover how travelers, those who come to witness the American dream, can become part of the solution, turning curiosity into compassion and action. This is not about blame, but about awakening a sense of shared responsibility. It's about recognizing our collective power to make a difference, no matter how small. Ignoring this crisis won't make it disappear. In fact, silence and inaction only allow it to grow. It's time to look closer, to open our eyes and hearts, and see the America that's too often overlooked, because only by seeing can we begin to change. The statistics we see in reports and headlines represent real human lives. Each number is a person with a story, hopes, and dreams. Behind every figure is someone facing unimaginable challenges, often hidden in plain sight. In January 2023, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development counted 653,104 people experiencing homelessness, a staggering 12% increase from the year before. This sharp rise is not just a number, it's a reflection of growing hardship across the country. This is the highest number ever recorded since 2007, marking a troubling milestone in America's ongoing struggle with homelessness. Nearly one-third of those experiencing homelessness are families with children, highlighting the devastating impact on the most vulnerable. Imagine trying to get your kids ready for school from the back seat of a car or inside a crowded tent, with no privacy or stability. For many, this is their daily reality. Chronic homelessness, living without a home for at least a year while battling a disabling condition, has surged, leaving many with disabilities or health issues stranded without support. California alone accounts for nearly 30% of the nation's homeless population, making it the epicenter of this crisis. In cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, tents line entire city blocks, creating a stark and heartbreaking contrast between immense wealth and deep poverty. These numbers reveal a profound and growing inequality, a divide that is becoming harder to ignore as it plays out on our streets. For hundreds of thousands of Americans, the dream of a safe, stable home is slipping further away, replaced by uncertainty and fear. The data is a clear alarm bell, warning us that the crisis is deepening and cannot be overlooked any longer. This is a national emergency demanding urgent, compassionate action from all levels of society, government, communities, and individuals alike. The truth is in the numbers, and the numbers demand we pay attention, take responsibility, and work together for real change. Why is this happening? The answer is complex. The severe shortage of affordable housing is a primary driver. In every state, a minimum wage worker can't afford a modest two-bedroom apartment. Rents have soared while wages stagnate, pushing families to the brink. Economic instability, job loss, medical bills, car repairs can trigger homelessness for those living paycheck to paycheck. The pandemic made this worse, and the end of emergency protections led to a surge in homelessness. Lack of mental health care and addiction treatment leaves many without support. Systemic inequities mean people of color, especially Black and Indigenous Americans, are disproportionately affected. Deinstitutionalization left many with mental illness cycling between shelters, jails, and the streets. The roots of this crisis are deep and systemic. It will take more than a simple fix. Travelers arrive expecting postcard views and vibrant cities, but many are confronted with a different reality. Stepping out of a luxury hotel in Los Angeles or walking through San Francisco, tourists encounter tent cities and people sleeping in doorways. This collision of worlds is jarring, shattering the illusion of a perfect vacation. Some visitors feel unsafe, changing their plans and impacting local businesses. The tourism industry is caught between presenting a welcoming image and facing a humanitarian crisis. Some cities have responded by clearing encampments or enforcing anti-loitering laws, especially before major events. The presence of homelessness in tourist hotspots forces a difficult conversation about American prosperity and inequality. For thoughtful travelers, it's a wake-up call. A vacation becomes a lesson in social reality, revealing truths beneath the surface. The tourist's gaze can no longer remain passive. Seeing this reality challenges us to think and act differently. To truly understand this crisis, we must look beyond statistics and see the human faces behind the numbers. Every person on the street has a story, a history, and a hope for something better. Take Michael, a 58-year-old veteran in Denver. He lost his job after a workplace injury, and what began as prescribed painkillers turned into an addiction. He ended up on the streets, not from laziness or lack of effort, but from a series of misfortunes that could happen to anyone. Or Sarah in Seattle, who aged out of foster care. She worked hard at a minimum wage job, but when her landlord sold the property, she lost her housing overnight. With no family to turn to and no savings, she was left with nowhere to go. With no safety net, Sarah turned to a shelter, hoping for stability and a fresh start. In Austin, a family of 4 now calls their minivan home. Their belongings are packed into every corner, and privacy is a luxury they no longer have. The father works full-time at a warehouse, doing everything he can to provide. But despite his steady job, they can't afford the deposit for an apartment, and affordable housing remains out of reach. The children do their homework in the back seat, their world confined to a vehicle. They dream of bedrooms, a kitchen table, and a place to call their own. These are not isolated incidents. They are snapshots of a nationwide tragedy unfolding in cities and towns across America. Each story is a testament to resilience in the face of hardship, and to the strength people find even when everything else is lost. These are parents, veterans, and young people with dreams and ambitions, all deserving of dignity and opportunity. Homelessness is not a character flaw or a personal failure. It is a crisis that can affect anyone, given the wrong set of circumstances. It's what happens when resources run dry and support systems are exhausted, leaving people with nowhere else to turn. Behind every statistic is a person fighting to hold on to dignity, memories, and hope for a better tomorrow. Their stories remind us this crisis is deeply personal, touching lives in ways we may never fully understand. And it could happen to anyone, at any time. Their stories are a call for compassion, understanding, and action. Homelessness ripples through entire communities. Public spaces, parks, libraries, transit become shelters of last resort, leading to tension and new challenges. Libraries now train staff to handle overdoses and mental health crises. The economic costs are immense, mostly spent on emergency services like ambulances and police, rather than prevention. Studies show it's far cheaper to provide permanent housing than to pay for the consequences of homelessness. Public health suffers too. Unsanitary encampments spread disease, and life expectancy for the chronically homeless is just 50 years. This is not just a housing crisis, it's a public health failure. There's also a moral cost. Seeing suffering daily can lead to compassion fatigue and erode our sense of community. The crisis reflects our collective values. Its persistence challenges our conscience. What kind of society do we want to be? Witnessing this crisis can leave travelers feeling helpless. But there are ways to help. Support local organizations, homeless shelters, food banks, outreach programs, with donations or time. Even a small contribution can provide meals, shelter, or critical services. Assemble care kits with socks, toiletries, snacks, and water to give directly to those in need. Volunteering at soup kitchens or shelters connects you to the community and puts a human face on the crisis. Always volunteer through established organizations for safety and impact. Use your purchasing power to support social enterprises that employ people transitioning out of homelessness. Your choices can provide not just a paycheck, but dignity and purpose. Every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. Travelers can be part of the solution. Compassion is a powerful souvenir to bring home. Material support matters, but so does human connection. For many experiencing homelessness, being ignored is the most painful part of daily life. Acknowledging someone's existence, a smile, eye contact, a simple "good morning," can restore dignity. If you feel safe, offer to buy someone a coffee or a meal. It turns a transaction into a moment of shared humanity. These small gestures remind us we're all part of the same community. The antidote to dehumanization is empathy. If we see homelessness as a result of systemic failures, we respond with compassion, not judgment. The stories we tell ourselves matter. The greatest gift we can offer is to see the person, not just the circumstance. Human connection costs nothing, but its value is immeasurable. Sometimes being seen is the first step toward hope. We stand at a crossroads. Homelessness is not inevitable, it's the result of choices we make as a society. We can choose to make safe, stable housing a fundamental right. Change begins with refusing to accept the current reality as normal. We know what works. Invest in affordable housing, mental health care, and robust support systems. As travelers and citizens, we can demand action from our leaders and support policies that protect the vulnerable. Our engagement in democracy is a powerful tool for change. The crisis of homelessness is a test of our values, but it's not too late to change course. Let's choose compassion, community, and action. Together, we can build an America where everyone has a place to call home.